Breaking news first at 11, 4 people shot dead on a CTA Blue Line train. We're listening to police wrap up a press conference. Let's listen in.
I mean, general safety, this is an isolated incident, so it can happen anywhere. Obviously, there's a little bit more concern because it is on a mass transit system, but, understand that there are security measures in place, not only by our local police departments that run along the line, but also CTA as well.
Some of the people we were talking to who were getting on and off pace buses were like, hey, I might have been on that train. Can you talk about just, they're like, we don't expect this kind of stuff to happen here. Is that common? I mean, what would you say as far as the environment here?
This obviously is shocking. It is uncommon, to have a mass shooting like this, especially this close to home, that we're actually actively investing on, on a holiday. So, for people to feel unsafe, it's justified, but if anybody does see anything in terms of that doesn't seem right, we always encourage people to call 911.
And it might be for you, it might be for Mayor, but I mean, 4 people are dead on a holiday. Can you speak to that, the community aspect of that?
I mean, it's a horrible situation. It's definitely something that you don't want to wake up to. It's a Monday morning on a holiday. Everyone's supposed to be, enjoying their time off, time with their families. It's Labor Day, so to actually have to be here, to address a situation like this, it's, horrible.
Mr. Mayor, do you have a message to the community?
I just want to add one thing. So it's a horrible tragedy that 4 people are dead on Labor Day weekend. Our police department and our fire department respond to this location probably more than any other location in our jurisdiction. Forest Park is the only community in Cook County, 14,000 people, with 2 major train lines that end in Forest Park. So we provide police response and fire and medical response. And so to the extent that our leaders in Springfield are considering any kind of CTA mass transit reorganization, we would ask them to consider investing additional resources in terms of safety, public safety, law enforcement personnel, what have you, to support a small community like Forest Park that has to respond to 2 major train lines ending in Forest Park. We've had press conferences here in the last year with our state reps. We've been to Springfield to call on more resources to deal with issues like mental health, opioid addiction, you name it. But this is an outlier. We never really have mass shootings like this that end in Forest Park. And so for that reason, I'm here to support the deputy chief and the police staff, excuse me.
Mr. Mayor, what do those resources look like to you? Is that adding police officers? Is that putting them in extra security, extra cameras? What are those resources?
It could be a combination of that. It could be more workers on the trains. We have a partnership with Shower Up that provides services to unhoused people regularly in the village of Forest Park. We have a partnership with the West Side Opioid Task Force that responds to addiction issues among homeless people riding the Green Line and the Blue Line. So it's for experts to determine what it looks like. But what we've learned is that over the last few years, our number of responses have increased exponentially. And so we're calling on our leadership, countywide, statewide, to invest more resources to support a small community like Forest Park and securing this area.
When you say that police and fire respond to your role, what kinds of things they have to respond to? What kinds of criminal activity?
Overdose, criminal activity, it kind of runs the gamut. But a lot of overdose.
Here?
Here, yes.
Obviously, I'm sure you'll get more details throughout the day. Where's the best spot to get updates from you all?
You can check out our website. If anybody has any tips, or has witnessed or any information to pass along, we had
We've been listening into a press conference from Forest Park leaders about 4 people shot on a moving CTA train this morning as it approached the Forest Park stop in Forest Park. We're told that there is 1 suspect in custody and there is no threat to the public at this time. Our Asal Razai has been covering this story all morning. She joins us with more on what unfolded at that scene. Asal.
Yeah, Maria, that news conference wrapping up here behind me just moments ago. Going to do the best I can to tell you exactly what they just said. All 4 people shot were passengers on the train. Happened while the train was in motion. Police officers just said as that train was heading into the Forest Park line stop inbound from O'Hare. We're told it happened on 2 different train cars just before 5:30 this morning. Police and fire responding here from all different neighboring suburbs and cities around the area. They say 3 people were pronounced dead on the scene. A 4th person taken to an area hospital where they later died. We're told the shooter initially got away. Forest Park police working with the CTA security team able to track down that suspect within just a couple of hours through surveillance video. They say CPD found the suspect matching their description on a CTA Pink Line train and took them into custody. They remain at Forest Park Police Department right now, and they also recovered a gun in that arrest. Forest Park detectives along with the West Suburban Major Crime Task Force now taking over the investigation. They say they believe, as you mentioned, Marie, this is an isolated incident, no longer a threat to the public. We know the Blue Line train is shut down between Austin and Forest Park here. There's shuttle buses here behind us that are helping get commuters to where they need to go. They say it is very likely the train station here will be shut down for the rest of the day. For now, I'm live in Forest Park. Asal Razai, CBS News Chicago.
Asal, thank you very much for that live report. Other news now, 2 people opened fire in the loop, breaking windows at this Starbucks. It happened around 2:30 this morning at Wabash and Randolph. Our nonstop news crew counted more than 20 shell casings. Police say the 2 shooters got away in a white car. They have not found any victims. The lakefront is very dangerous today on this holiday. It's important you keep that in mind. We have an alert out there to stay out of the water. Meteorologist Mary Kay Kleist has our important first alert forecast. Good morning, Mary Kay.
Well, good morning, Marie. I know the lakefront looks so inviting on this holiday, but we have to watch for the rip current risk. There is a high swim risk around the entire edge of Lake Michigan. It was the front yesterday that opened the door for this breezy, cool trend. We are dry today for the holiday, but showers are on the way to close out the week. In the meantime, our model data is showing that high swim risk from Kenosha all the way around to Michigan City. 3 to 5 foot waves likely. For boaters, it's a southeast wind becoming easterly at 10 to 15 knots with waves about 2 to 4 feet and that water temperature holding at 74. So maybe volleyball is a better stance for you today to stay out of the water. We're at 70 degrees in Aurora, so it's a cool Labor Day, Marie. Slowly we warm up this week, and I'll track that rain chance with our next front coming up.
Great, thank you, Mary Kay. This morning, hundreds gathered in Jerusalem for the funeral of 23-year-old Israeli-American Hirsch Goldberg Polin. Israeli officials announced on Sunday that he was one of 6 hostages killed in Gaza. His death brings a crushing end to a high-profile international campaign by his parents to bring him home. Mugu Odigwe is in our newsroom with a look at his funeral and the protests in Israel overnight.
For months now, Goldberg Polin's parents, who were from the Chicago area, campaigned to bring him back home safely. Today, they are attending his funeral. They had this to say about their son.
I have had a lot of time during the past 332 days to think about my sweet boy, Hirsch. And one thing I keep thinking about is how out of all of the mothers in the whole entire world, God chose to give Hirsch to me. What must I have done in a past life to deserve such a beautiful gift?
One of the most fitting posts I saw about Hirsch yesterday was the one that said, Yehi Zichro Mahapecha. May his memory be a revolution.
Goldberg Poland was among the hundreds of young people attending the Nova Music Festival in southern Israel on October 7th when Hamas militants attacked. His arm was blown off from the elbow during that attack. According to Israeli officials, he was one of the 6 hostages killed on Thursday or Friday. They were found in an underground tunnel. Officials say they were killed shortly before military forces arrived to rescue them. Their deaths led to clashes between protesters and police in Tel Aviv overnight. Thousands took to the streets in Israel to demand a ceasefire and hostage deal. Back in Jerusalem this morning, Goldberg Poland's dad said this about him.
Hirsch, we failed you. We all failed you. You would not have failed you. You would have pushed harder for justice. You would have worked to understand the other, to bridge differences. You would have challenged more people to challenge their own thinking. And what you would be pushing for now is to ensure that your death, the deaths of all the soldiers, and so many innocent civilians are not leshav, not in vain.
Meanwhile, President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris are meeting with the U.S. hostage deal negotiating team later today. In the newsroom, Mugo Odigwe, CBS News Chicago.
Mugo, thank you. Ahead, a look at how both presidential candidates are spending the Labor Day holiday pushing for votes. Plus, an update on the 49ers player shot in an attempted robbery this past weekend. The presidential election is just over 2 months away. Can you believe it? And both campaigns are focusing on workers this Labor Day. Allies of former President Donald Trump will speak with automakers in Detroit today. Vice President Kamala Harris is also in Detroit. In Minnesota this weekend, Governor Tim Walz returned to the state fair, serving ice cream and talking about the economy. Harris also spoke about the economy at a campaign event in Georgia, while Trump discussed immigration at the Moms for Liberty gathering.
Half of America's working population either owns, runs, or works in a small business.
They're coming into our country at levels that nobody's ever seen. And I've been saying for 2 years that this has got to stop.
In the week ahead, both campaigns are focusing on those battleground states. And tomorrow marks 1 week until Trump and Harris are set to face off on the debate stage. A rookie NFL player is out of the hospital 1 day after he was shot in broad daylight during an attempted robbery in San Francisco. Ricky Pearsall was about to begin his first year as a wide receiver with the San Francisco 49ers. We're told just a few hours after signing autographs at an event on Saturday, a 17-year-old with a gun tried to rob him near San Francisco's Union Square. Police arrested the teen as he was trying to run away. Officers say there's no sign that he was targeted because of his job. Still to come, why thousands of hotel workers are spending Labor Day fighting for better conditions at their jobs. And a 3,000-year-old vase smashed to pieces. The culprit? A kid. Ahead, we have the surprising response from the museum. Right now, thousands of hotel workers across the country are spending Labor Day on the picket line. Union housekeepers from several major chains are going on strike today. That includes workers from Hilton's, Hyatt's, and Marriott's. Those housekeepers say they have to work against the clock to clean up the messes left behind by guests or risk losing their jobs. In addition to better wages and benefits, housekeepers are calling on hotels to restore automatic daily room cleanings. It is the first rule of any museum. You can look, but don't touch. Still, a 4-year-old boy let his curiosity get the best of him, and he accidentally smashed an ancient artifact. As Tina Cross reports, you might be surprised at what happened next.
Anna Geller has a good grip on her 4-year-old son's hand as they return to the same museum in Israel they visited just days ago. Ariel looks curious but careful. After all, last time didn't go so well.
It's my fault. I should have given him a hand. But it was just the destruction of a second.
That second led to the destruction of a 3,500-year-old jar from the Bronze Age, one of the only containers of its size discovered completely intact.
And the next thing I know, it's a very big boom.
Ever since that boom, restoration expert Roee Shafir has been trying to piece the treasure back together while keeping a surprising sense of humor.
The child wasn't supposed to be the excavation and touch the vessels, but they touch and they break it. I can cure it. It's okay.
The museum's director calls it a teachable moment.
I wanted to make some closure.
She invited Ariel and his entire family back to show how workers are using 3D technology to restore the rare jar. And Ariel tried a repair of his own. Although museum staff chose a cheap jar they didn't mind breaking. A not so painful lesson that when something falls apart, the right attitude can fix it. Tina Kraus, CBS News, London.
Meteorologist Mary Kay Kleist back with us. Mary Kay, for Labor Day, I'm hoping the winds aren't howling quite as much as they were yesterday.
You know, they're going to be dying down, Marie, but over the water, the winds are still high enough to create those dangerous rip currents. So don't be fooled. Even the strongest swimmers could have some problems with rip currents today. That's why we have the high swim risk. It's cooler than it should be. Highs in the low and middle 70s today. We're dry today, but late in the week, we are tracking our next rain chance. Look at the gorgeous visibility as we look to North Avenue Beach all the way up Lakeshore Drive, 70 degrees. Dew points are only at 51. When we started this weekend, they were closer to 70. It was super tropical feeling. Well, now we have this cool ridge of high pressure that has settled in. That's what's generating the high wave action at the beaches. But as that high gets closer, we'll start to see these waves die down. But the high swim risk today does promote wave action 3 to 5 feet with those rip current risks. So maybe enjoy Navy Pier or perhaps the Riverwalk. That's also a gorgeous place today. Just a clear sky with some passing clouds from time to time. A cooler than average day for us. So we're going 74 for the forecast high, but boy, tonight's going to be a cool one. 56 in the city. 40s again in the suburbs. We're dry for the next couple of days. I'm watching a front late in the week. I think Thursday morning we start dry. The height of the rain chance comes overnight Thursday, and I do think some of these showers may linger into Friday. I'm not seeing a big storm outbreak, but I am seeing this will open the door to a big change for next weekend. Next weekend, a true taste of fall. Forecast highs only in the 60s. Overnight lows in the city closer to 50 degrees. So next weekend will be super cool, but enjoy this Labor Day.
Cool. This is Explore Scientific. This is a telescope, obviously, but so easy to use. Comes with a tripod. It comes with 2 different lenses, so you can change them in and out depending on what you're looking at.
Love it.
I didn't know that summer is the easiest time to see meteor showers and supermoon. So obviously, I got very excited about the moon and the stars and everything when the eclipse happened, as I think a lot of us did.
Right.
So now get that telescope home. At night, when you're sitting around the fire, pull it out with the kids, take a look at the stars, and this one has a spot for your cell phone.
Yes, and it comes with this adapter.
Yes, so you can look through it like you would, with your eye, but you could also put your cell phone on here so you can record, take photos of the moon, and they're going to show up so clear, and then we can post them on social media.
Which is what we all want to do. It's the only reson to study the stars and the planet.
Exactly. So you have bragging rights, but really great, and it is only $44.99 today, 55% off. Yes. And think about it. This is something you're always going to have. It folds up nice and easy. Again, this is a tripod, so it's going to collapse. Easy to move around. The memories.
I know. We have one. Yeah, we love it. Yes, it's in our backyard.
See?
Yeah, I love it.
It's so much fun, and your kids are going to remember those moments always.
And so will my Instagram followers.
There you go.
To get this deal and more, scan the QR code at the top of your screen or head to cbsdeals.com to start shopping now.
Back now to our top story. Asal Razai has a breaking news update on the CTA Blue Line shooting that killed 4 in Forest Park.
Police say all 4 people shot were passengers on the train. Happened while the train was in motion coming into the Forest Park line stop inbound from O'Hare. We're told it happened on 2 different train cars just before 5:30 this morning. They say 3 people were pronounced dead on the scene, a 4th person taken to the hospital where they later died. The shooter initially got away from the scene. Forest Park police working with CTA security to get a suspect description out. CPD then matching that suspect description on a CTA Pink Line train, taking a suspect into custody. They say a gun was also recovered at that arrest. The Blue Line train is shut down here at Forest Park, and we know shuttle buses are here taking commuters where they need to go. Police say the train station here will likely be closed throughout the rest of the day. Reporting in Forest Park, Asal Razai, CBS News Chicago.
Thank you, Asal. Thanks for watching CBS News Chicago at 11. We want to leave you with a holiday weekend tradition. This is a look at the Woogums Parade in Lakeview. It stepped off from Wellington and Pine Grove about 15 minutes ago. Woogums standing for Wellington Oakdale Old Glory Marching Society. We hope you have a great rest of your Labor Day, and we'll see you back on TV today at 4.